I have a couple Ferrari grills here, and I wanted to show you some of the details you might not normally see. I mean, this grill is so iconic that you just see it and just recognize it. I mean, it's the egg crate, it's the prancing horse, it's everything, but sometimes looking closer, you'll see a lot more details than maybe the regular person might see. I tend to see a lot of it because I've done so much work on these grills through the years. I've actually remanufactured mine from scratch because mine was so corroded, and I've also repaired them and polished them and rebuilt them and re-chromed them. So there's a lot of work I've done with grills, so I've spent a lot of time around them. This one in particular is out of a 250 GTE. I'm in the process of examining it and figuring out how much work needs to be done on it, and whether or not it needs to be refurbished or anything. It looks in generally good shape. It's a little dirty, but here are some of the details that are from a grill that was built in the early 60s. So grills changed through the years in the way they were constructed. And early 60s, they had a couple details. The horse, of course, is flat. So this one from 1961 and earlier too, they had this horse that is basically a flat piece of brass, and then it was chrome plated. Towards the mid 60s, they went to a sculptured horse that looks like this, where it's formed, and then it was then chrome plated. And then later on in the 80s, they went to basically a flat horse again, but it went to, I think it was aluminum, and those were the ones that are found in a lot of the cars in the 80s. Some of them went to black anodized and things like that, but the early cars were chrome plated. The grill itself is interesting because on Ferraris, the early ones, they were marked and assembled in order. This is ordered in a body number, which is that number here, which is 041. And what happens is that body number associates itself with the car. So everything on this grill, 041, 041, 041, all matches. So that way, when they were assembling these things and as they were hand fitted together, once they got it together, they knew that that was going to this particular grill and then to the car itself. So that way, handmade cars, they have a specific fit to it, and once they're done, they can't mix them up. They're not so easily removable. I mean, we kind of, with modern manufacturing, you forget how interchangeable these parts are. But on a grill for a Ferrari, when it's a handmade car, handmade body, handmade everything, once they fit it, it needs to stay with that one car. So these vertical slats, and along with the horizontal slats, I mean, you'll see them marked on the inside here is also 1, 2, 3, 4, but they're not as obvious because they're inside. But they are all done so that they match together. This era of car, they held everything together with little screws and nuts. So every single vertical piece and horizontal piece is screwed into the grill shell. The other interesting thing is that the grill shell is curved. If you look at the way this is, there's a huge curve in it, and there's a separate curve on the chrome piece. So what happens here is the chrome piece fits to the car. So in a way, what they did was they created this car or this grill with a chrome piece that matches the body of the car, and then was bolted to the grill. So at least they didn't have to fit every single grill to the car itself. So, or to the aluminum pieces to the car, and they were able to just do the chrome surround and get that to fit the car. Once they did that, then this thing slides in, and then there's this special gasket that goes on the lip, and it seals between the gasket, the car, and the grill. On some cars, they didn't have a gasket. Like a Lusso didn't have a gasket, but I know on the 250 GTE, it did have a gasket. So this car gets a gasket, and it makes up some of the fit and finish around the grill opening. The way the horse is secured to the grill is interesting, because I think as I've looked at these grills, I've started to notice that certain things have been changed. This grill, I believe, has been modified, because the way the horse is done, that's not correct. So the screws are not original. So someone has taken this horse off, re-chromed it, and then re-engineered the back of the back of the horse. Because when you look at the original one, or let's say this one only has 2 studs on it and two nuts. That's the way that their original horses were, very short screws or short bolts and or studs. But this one has some strange long one that hooks around to the back. So that's evidence that someone's been in here. Also, it's not secured the same way. Here, if I pull up this grill, you'll see that the grill itself has 2 holes, and that's where the horse is supposed to be bolting to. And then there's these 2 little L brackets that fit in there that holds the grill in place. So when it comes time to polishing the grill, it can be a lot of work, because what happens is the aluminum on these grills get corroded and they get pitted, and you can hear it, like how rough that is. You can get a lot of that off, but it's never going to be super shiny as when it was brand new. But it'll go a long way if you just get in there with your fingers and some aluminum polish and just polish up the grill. It's not the most fun job to do, but the results are kind of rewarding. So here's the struggle. So putting in this grill seal, I didn't say anything because I felt it was a little larger than what I remembered. But at the same time, went ahead and installed it and started to put it in the car. And when I went to slide the grill in with the new seal, what I was concerned about is, yes, it's too big. It will not allow this grill to go all the way into the bodywork. Now, what happens with these grills is that these grills are fitted to the body with the seal, so that the opening of the grill will allow that to fit perfectly. And if anything changes in dimension, it's not going to work. And this new seal is different in size. Let me show you what I have. I went and looked at the seal that I got, and I pulled up the seal that I actually have on hand from a previous car that I did. And when you hold them next to each other, you can see the difference. There's the new one, which is this one over here. When you lay them next to each other, you can see that it's wider. So what happens is, when you put this grill in with the larger seal, it takes up too much room. So I was sold this by the supplier saying, oh yeah, we have this stuff in stock, but they don't put this stuff in the cars. So when they look at this, it's, oh look, it's the same shape. It is a crazy kind of strange barbed shape, but just that little bit of difference in dimension is going to stop the grill from installing. So now I have to go back to them, return this stuff, which is useless. This is garbage. This is like I bought like, 20 feet of this stuff, because I figured, okay, well, great. Let's buy enough to do 2 grills, because I'm going to be needing this stuff for another grill. So if they can get it to me in X amount of dollars, I just might as well buy it in bulk. But the way it's normally sold is this Italian stuff comes in 9-foot lengths for grill assembly, but I just don't know why they're selling me stuff that I know their intentions is to sell their own inventory, but when you sell your inventory and it doesn't fit, it's a waste of my time, and it's a waste of energy. And on the bigger picture of what I tell people is that, I deal with this stuff. I work with this stuff all the time. So just opening the package, I knew that the seals were different in size. But there are guys who contact me from around the world who are putting these cars together, And they don't know any better. So they buy this stuff from a supplier, they get it, and it doesn't, and they can't seem to get their grill to fit. They don't realize that there is another option. There's a better option. So what ends up happening is they might end up changing something on their car or jamming this stuff in there. It looks like hell, but they're just convinced that they got sold the right stuff because their supplier said that this is the stuff. If the supplier sells it to them, oh, it must be right. Well, it's not right. And I get really frustrated because not only for me, because it wastes, I'm sitting here trying to get all this stuff done today, and now all of a sudden I can't do any work because I got sold the wrong parts. And then I also get frustrated because they're selling this stuff to everybody. And so if you don't know about the right stuff, the wrong stuff, and you're going by your supplier's opinion, which they don't know what they're selling sometimes, then you're actually doing a bad job on your car, not because of your fault, but because of the supplier's parts that they're selling you that you assumed is correct. So that's another problem with the grills. I mean, just this is the struggle. But anyway, we're hoping we can move forward and we'll get better stuff, and I'll be able to put this grill in and it'll fit. But for now, I got a whole bunch of grill steel that's no good. This stuff I have here, the short stuff, or the small stuff, I don't have enough to do a grill. This is the leftover piece from last time. Yeah, the struggle's real.